Hello my friends, my name is Max, today is Friday, and that means that we're opening yet another issue of the Imperium Magazine. This time this is issue 19, and you might guess that we are about to see some chaplain miniature based from this nice cover, but sadly this is not the case. We're gonna have more boxes over here, and we're gonna learn about the Reclusiam. That is why this picture is here. So let's go ahead and see what's inside of the magazine. Inside of the packaging we find the magazine itself and a really nice sprue of the Munitorum Armoured Containers. By now we can probably figure out what is what by heart. Looking at the sprue, we have seen it already twice, and we're gonna take another look a moment later. And let's take a closer look at the magazine. Manufactorum Battlezone, Smoke-Filled Industrial Centers. They tell us what the Manufactorum is, so how the industry is organized in the grim dark future where is only war. Inside the Manufactorum, Munitorum Armoured Containers, cargo train, Imperial shipping transport vessel, administrative service cal, really like these pals, galvanic servo hauler crane. Yeah, this is another miniature that is not here, but I'm pretty sure we will see it over the run of this magazine. Battle record, yeah, you can name your Manufactorum sector, which kinda makes sense because usually if there is like an industrial area of some sort, it has a name. Manufactorum goods, very interesting. Sector battles, locations, battle Victor, Necron, Space Marines. Alright, so you can basically give a little bit of backstory for your Manufactorum sector. And I guess now, since you have all three of the sprues and all containers and barrels and crates, you kinda consider the Manufactorum sector to be complete. Next we get some really nice looking lore on Space Marine Reclusiam. So this nice chaplain has Crozius Arcanum and a bolt pistol. They explain us what Reclusiam is, who are the chaplains, how it all works. Very, very nice. Ranks of the Reclusiam, chaplain war gear, looking very, very cool. They explain what is what. Not a lot of different options here. It's fairly straightforward. And next we get more lore on the Necrons. In search of immortality, the awakening. The awakening Necron dynasties rise to begin their long-awaited conquest of the galaxy. And we see more stuff on the Necrons. There is some additional lore, some made-up places. In search of immortality, 1,000 empires. They explain us how the dynasties are organized and how it all works from the high-level overview. The Triarchs, leaders of the Necron tier dynasties, were once governed by the Triarch. Alright, they explain us who these guys are. And next we get assembly instructions on building Munitorum Armoured Containers. I think this is exactly the same that we have seen in two previous issues. Dry fit, you're supposed to dry fit a lot. Some variability, you can have the container open or closed, and you can put the bolters. And the real discovery for me was last time that you are not supposed to glue them. Very, very good. This is how the containers and crates and barrels look like when assembled. This is how you paint them. This time the barrels are in Screamer Pink. I guess this is done for making them a little bit more interesting. So you're supposed to have crates and barrels and containers in different colors. And this is how it looks. Looks actually quite nice. Apparently you don't really need a lot of colors to paint this kind of terrain. Very, very nice. It looks amazing actually. And next we arrive to a playthrough scenario of this issue, War in the Factorum. Who would have guessed? We finally got all the crates and all the barrels and all the containers, and now we can finally have a real war inside of it. Royal Warden is supposed to seize the Factorum, and Primaris Captain is supposed to ambush the nobles, the Necron nobles, clearly. This is the setup. We have a Royal Warden and Necron Warriors on one side, and we have Primaris Captain and Assault Intercessors on the other. We finally are supposed to place all 3 containers and lots of crates and barrels. Grenades weapons, they explain how grenades work. The Space Marines start, they move, shoot, charge, and fight. Tactical tips, we get some tactical tips on moving and advancing, and moving ranged units, very interesting. And the Necrons go next. They move, they shoot, all sorts of shooting, disintegrator beams, all sorts of really cool stuff over here, and the playthrough example is basically taking now almost the whole page, which I was really happy about in the previous episode. The Space Marines move next. It's a little bit less of them this time, and they are about to charge. And yeah, here we have the long-expected melee. For a rematch, they suggest that we're supposed to play 3 times, recording Space Marines and Necron victories on one map in Section C, Theater of War 1. Okay, this is interesting. War on Cephus. New models, new paints, new scenery. Oh, wait a minute. Last time, I was under the impression that you are supposed to get this whole game board in the previous issue. Is it not the case? It says here, in issue 21 till 40 of Imperium, the war for Ramesses system escalates. As the conflict spreads to the fortress moon of Cephus, the Adeptus Mechanicus join the fight. Adeptus Mechanicus, the Necrons. Wow, where do we get it? Where do we get it? Did we supposed to get it in the previous issue? Oh, you know what? I just looked into the future. I literally used some warp abilities. And this is issue 21. And this looks like a battle mat that is mentioned over here. Check this out. Some green stuff. Yeah, this definitely looks like a new game mat. And this is explicitly saying issue 21. So yeah, this is effectively an ad. Okay, we're in the clear. And by the way, this is Adeptus Mechanicus. Spoiler alert. Alright guys, the mystery is solved. It is all clear now. This is gonna wait us in the next issues. So my previous issue was complete. I was not supposed to get any playmat over there. So this is an ad, effectively. Really cool. And this is what we get next. We get 2 paints in issue 20. And we get 10 Skitaria Rangers in issue 21. This is part 1 and 2. Okay, this is a bit confusing. Oh yeah, I do know. It's basically issue 21 and 22. Issue 21 is gonna have part 1, and issue 22 is gonna have part 2. Presumably. Yet again, we will have to figure it out. Alright, this is our magazine. Looking cool. And we, of course, get the sprue. This is the Munitorum Armoured Containers sprue, one of the most boring sprues you can get from the Imperium magazine. It is kinda cool though that it is some sort of terrain, because I think it is not enough terrain on any battlefield. I prefer to have a battlefield filled with terrain, all sorts of obstacles. It just looks cool. And this is the sprue that will allow us to rectify just that. For those of you who have never seen a Munitorum Armoured Container sprue, this is basically one large crate that you can build from these parts, 3 barrels, so they are like in halves, and 4 crates, like 2 small ones and 2 larger ones. And that is pretty much what this sprue is about. Normally they come in boxes of 3, so you can assemble 3 large containers, lots of crates, 12 crates, and 12 barrels, and they look amazing. Especially if you paint them. And as we have seen in this issue, if you paint them in different colors, they actually look amazing. My personal favorites are these barrels, because they have little taps over here, so I always think that this is not a Prometheum barrel, but this is a beer barrel. Yeah, that looks very nice. And this sprue is actually fairly old. The molds are from 2016, so this is even before the Primaris era. This is a fairly old terrain. 9 years old terrain, my friends. Can you imagine that? The time flies. And that is gonna be it for today, my friends. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the Reclusiam? What do you think of the Chaplains of Space Marines? What do you think of Munitorum Armoured Containers? Do you have any? Did you build them? Do you use them in your games? Let me know. Stay tuned for next issues of the magazine. We're gonna have more interesting stuff. We're gonna have Adeptus Mechanicus. This is gonna be fun. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribe to the channel. We have tons of these magazines to open. In fact, we have the whole series collected. We have tons of miniatures to build and kit bash, and we have some really fun boxes to unbox. Stay tuned for that. You might want to check my Patreon, just saying that. Check out the video that you see now on your screen. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.